Yo, so we're going to start at a foundational level, which is to understand aura, which is the bubble of energy that surrounds us. This is foundational, and we need to understand this before we move into any of the other components. So, if you stretch your arms out wide to the, far left and right, um, and then double that, right, two arms lengths around us, the whole way around. That circumference is our aura. It contains our energy, right? And you would have had you may have had experiences where you walked into a room or an environment and you've noticed that someone's vibe or energy was off. There's just something about them. Or on the flip side, that their vibe energy was really beautiful. There was just something about them, right? That's our aura, okay? It comes into contact with people before we get up close and personal and are able to say, hey, hello, you know, um, before we start talking. It's very powerful, very real. Okay. And this is part of the experiment, a foundational experiment, is to understand this and then watch it. Right. And the purpose to understand our own unique aura and also the aura of those in our household, in our families, in our communities and friendship groups. The power of this is to know how the different ones work, okay? And for us personally, to be able to keep ours clear and to know how to recharge it. So, there are four different auras, even though there are five human design types, and that's because generators and manifesting generators, they're generators, and their aura is a generator aura. It works the same. I'm going to run through how all four of these auras work, what they're going to feel like to you if you have, you know, based on your one, and also what the other auras are going to feel like. Um, yeah, it's useful to understand all of them. So, the projector aura, I'm a projector. Our aura, firstly, our bubble of energy, when we come into contact with another being, our energy penetrates in. Okay, so if you can just imagine that for a second, I'm walking into an environment or up to somebody, and 2, 3 meters before I even get to them, they can sense this penetrative, being seen kind of energy. And like naturally, that's gonna, cause them to decide what they want to do, like keep me at arm's length or, open the door and invite me in. And that's a very big theme for projectors, is to watch out for that, okay? Because we got no control over our aura. It's just going to happen, right? Um, we're going to enter a space and our penetrative aura goes into another, and they're going to make a decision about how they feel about that. What happens after that, again, we don't have any choice in the matter, it just happens, is once we come into contact with another being and our energy penetrates into their bubble, that's what's happening, is our bubble's going into their bubble, into them, and then we absorb their energy. Okay, so we've penetrated, we've absorbed their energy, and the last thing that we usually do, especially when we don't know about human design, is we start projecting back what we're absorbing, and that's why we're under pressure so much to be heard, and we want to help because we've just absorbed so much, and then we're like, this can be really useful for them to know. The key thing here is to avoid like being bitter and disappointed and getting thrown out, is that we need to wait for that invitation. Okay, wait for them to welcome us in as we walk up, as we come into contact with somebody. Read the room. If we can feel that we're being held at arm's length, stay at arm's length. We're still going to absorb them. There's nothing we can do about that, but we don't have to say anything. Yeah, because it's not welcome. And then we'll know when it is welcome, when the door gets open, when someone comes into contact with our bubble and it feels, beautiful to them, they're going to invite us in. But if they don't say anything. So, next, the generator aura. is designed to pull things totally opposite to the projector. It's actually designed to attract things and pull things into its bubble, its aura. Um, why? Because they're creating our world. They their aura is regenerative, like it's building life. Not much, big, you know, awesome, right? Go them. So they're pulling in resources, people, opportunities into their bubble, into their life. Then what happens from there is that the things that they choose that come into their life, because lots of things come into their world, into their bubble, but they get to choose. Well, they get to decide which ones they say yes to. And so this is what's really important for a generator to know how to decide correctly, because that what you say yes to and you keep in your life, or you start working on, or you give energy to, more simply, you will envelop that thing with your life force regenerative energy. So you can imagine if you're bringing things in, saying yes to things that aren't quite correct for you, aren't quite healthy for you, you're giving all your energy to that. And that's why it's always repeated that generators, learn to discern and decide correctly for yourself, and don't be afraid to say no to things that aren't, lighting you up. Let them go. Because yeah, when that energy envelops, it's like a womb, right? The sperm, the seed comes up into the womb, and then the womb nurtures and gives life to that seed, and it grows a human, right? That is the kind of life force regenerative energy a generator and manifesting generator contained. All right. So be choosy. Say no to the things that don't light you up. Say yes to the things that do light you up. Because if they light you up, you're going to give them everything that you have. Imagine, there's lots of generators that are giving life to things that they don't have any interest for. And it's very sad to watch that. Okay. Beautiful, on the other hand, to see generators that are doing what they love and doing what light them up. Very different vibes, you know. So that's the generator aura. Manifestor aura. Just going to have a little drink. The manifestor aura, I sort of can, like, it feels like Teflon to me because their aura is designed to repel out other people's bubbles. Okay, there's a reason for that. These guys spark new creations. Um, they are the spark of new things. Oh, they are able to, you know, um, kick off the initiatives, the things that generators go on to build. Okay, so they're essentially got to keep themselves clear to wait for those instructions to come through their body. So they can't be having everyone else up in their bubble, right? So when they do this correctly and keep their vessel clear, the things that come through are designed to create impact. So they get the instruction, they get the download, they get the vision, whatever it is, however it is. I won't know because I'm not a manifester, but it's been referred to me many times from different manifestors. It's like this urge. It's this urge, and they cannot not go forward with it. Yeah? It's like a steam train. All right? Nothing's stopping it, not even them. It's coming, right? They are here to bring those things through and start them off. That's why their aura keeps other people out. So these manifestors can be, quite hard to get through to or to connect with. And yeah, if they're not choosing you, then they're not choosing you, and it will be hard to get in and to get through. And that's how it's supposed to be. So manifestors can become, very angry if it feels like they're being controlled or people are getting in their way. All right. Now, what I've kind of said to a few manifestors is like, that's where this informing process, which we'll get into when we get into strategy, really helps, because then you can, let people know what you need. Okay. And that's a practice. And what I've come to understand from manifestors is that a lot of them have become, kind of adverse to wanting to let people know or to inform, because their whole life it's felt like people are in their way, and no matter what they say, it's not listened to anyway, you know and so they become averse to like informing later on in life. So that's something, that's a muscle that we've got to rebuild, because it keeps it just keeps you so clear and brings you the deep level of peace that you're here to experience. So we'll get to more on that when we get deeper down into the course. So yeah, don't take things personally from a manifesto if they're not like listening or feeling you all the way. You know what I mean? They're self-contained, you know, and that's to the benefit of us all, because what they're bringing through is that freshness, that spark, and helping our world evolve in the direction that it needs to go in. All right. So, reflector in aura. The reflector is similar to the manifester, right? Their aura is so resilient. And I think about water resistance, like water off a duck's back. Nothing can really stick onto it. You know what I mean? That's how their aura is designed to protect them, as they move through the world. And they move through the world in this way because they're just here to sample different communities, different people, different experiences. And the reason why their aura, their bubble is so resistant, like water off a duck's back, is because once we get deeper into the course, you'll see a body graph of a reflector, and they are completely open, right? And you're like, this may not make sense now, but when we talk about a projector and we absorb people's energy, we've got some stability within our body, energetically. Reflectors have no stable, reliable source of energy in their body graph, in their centers. So this resistance ensures that they somewhat stay, them, right? Because when they come into contact with other people for that moment while they're sampling, they are, they reflect back, like um they take in the other and they're able to reflect that back out, right? um and so they need to be able to like be resistant as they move through these different experiences. So they're here to, just do their thing, go through life, sample different places, spaces, people, and you know, um, they're here to reflect how we're doing, how the health of a community, the health of an environment, of a person. They've got that ability. It's very beautiful being in the presence of a reflector. Um, and they love, as they're going around sampling, surprise, right? The surprise that comes from being in the right place, and being in correct environments. So, next step is we'll keep going deeper, and it's like building blocks. We're going to continue to build out from here, but this is the foundation. Aura is designed to like it's the bubble of energy around us. It's on our side, and to no fault of our own, we're when we come into contact with this knowledge, we're working against our energy because we don't know no better. And this course, Human Design Simplified, and the way that I'm sharing it with you, is designed to help you come back into your natural state, to understand your projector, reflector, generator, manifestor aura, to help keep it clear and to help recharge it so that you can move through the world um, as you were designed to do.